I'm hoping a lot of these things are wrong, but I think we need to think out of the box. We're in an age of the unthinkable. Yesterday, I asked you the question, does it matter? Does it matter? Any of the stuff that I talk about, does it matter if it's true or not? Does it matter that these people are Marxists? Does it matter that the guy who is rebuilding our automotive industry has no experience in automotive business? He's 31-year-old Brian Deese. He slept in his car in a GM parking lot. That's about it. Does it matter that the manufacturing czar has said the free market is nonsense, and he's not alone in his love of redistributing wealth?
We get the joke. We know that the free market is nonsense.
In this way, we have a really incredible revolution, democratic revolution. And I think when you spread the wealth around, it's good for everybody.
Give them the wealth! Give them the wealth!
Mao Zedong and Mother Teresa, the two people that I turn to most.
Okay. Does that matter? We have Marxists and radicals serving in the administration and advising the President of the United States. Does it matter? Well, yes, it does. If you believe that what makes America America is not the government, but the individual dreamers, the builders, the doers, not the collective, but the individuals, the dreamers and the inventors. The inventors that brought us moving pictures. It was in this country. How about the assembly line, the light bulb, the elevator, the, dare I say it, the Chia Pet. Chia. Those are the individuals that made us great. Well, maybe we can leave off the Chia Pet people, but that's a different story. That's what's being stifled. Now the government is going to tell you what that Chia Pet better look like, how to create it, and what to do with it after you've created it. They are going to control your everything, all your financing, control your education. They're going to have you build beautiful cars like that. They're going to control your health. They'll control what you watch on television. They'll control everything now because they own a lot of the banks and many and more of the companies. So now, not only does the inventor have to invent the things, not that the people want, but what the government says it's looking for, they'll also make sure that you can't go out on your own and try to create something better if they don't like it. It is total and complete control. America is also total insanity. Now, I've told you on this program before about Cloward and Piven. It is a 1960s strategy that actually taught people the best way to stop the Republic, the best way to stop America, the best way to subvert the Constitution and replace it with communism, Marxism, socialism, whatever, is to financially collapse it. Not to fight in the streets, but financially fight. Well, just a year ago, I will tell you that this stuff sounded absolutely crazy. It still sounds, there are times at night I lay in bed and I'm like, this cannot be true. How can these people, this can't be true. Well, it is. These people are now the ruling class. We've worried about the debt, you and I. We have worried about it for years. We worried about it under George Bush. It wasn't sustainable. That was one of the big things about George W. Bush. Hello, stop spending money. But tonight, I not only want to show you how bad the debt is, but I also want to show it to you because I think if you're armed with information, look, you're neither stupid nor are you panicky. You just need somebody to tell you the truth and tell you what to do about it. Well, I can't tell you what to do about it exactly, but I can tell you the truth. At least the truth as I understand it. And then if you have that truth, if you have that information, if a crisis comes, you're not going to accept their answer because you'll understand what the problem is. You won't accept the solution that I think is coming. And what is coming is a system that doesn't really look a lot like America as you know it, because this system is unsustainable for the way the people in Washington have built it. It is a system that is going to financially collapse at some point. A system, quite honestly, that looks a lot like what just happened in Iceland. In Iceland, they just released this, has got my attention. All 3 of their McDonald's have been forced to close in Iceland. Now, that may not sound like a national emergency to you, but then again, neither does a swine flu. And the reason they shut down the McDonald's in Iceland is the currency. It's called the krona. It has been devalued to the point where McDonald's franchise owners could no longer afford to even import the packaging, the meat, or the cheese to run a McDonald's. Just 4 years ago, Iceland was booming. Everybody looked at it and said, this is a great economy. This is a great country. It was growing at 5% and boasting the first Icelander to make the Forbes wealthiest list. Well, in October of last year, a year ago, Iceland's stocks dropped 77% in a single day. They went from being in a position to where they were importing workers from Poland to a 10% unemployment rate like that. Massive debt, coupled with currency and banking crisis, has caused Iceland's once thriving economy to hit the skids. Now, their GDP is around $20 billion, and their foreign debt alone was $120 billion, 6 times their GDP. Would you like a hot apple pie with that debt, Reykjavik? If that was just their biggest problem, to find their next Big Mac, it wouldn't be so bad. If it was just about our next Big Mac, it wouldn't be our biggest problem. Our GDP now, what we make as a country, is $15 trillion. Our actual debt, as you've seen many times on this show it here, is $105 trillion. This is our national debt, but the actual debt is $105 trillion, 7 times our GDP. Now, I want to make this clear. Ours is the actual debt. What happened in Iceland is their foreign debt. Apples and oranges, I understand that. But did you just see the number that I just showed you? It said 11 trillion, didn't it say 11 trillion? That's the games we play. Our government is playing accounting games right now. Do you realize we have 4 separate accounting books? Yeah, you try that with the IRS. We have accounting processes, not according to me, but according to David Walker, former comptroller, independent comptroller of the United States of America, that's left in disgust because nobody would pay attention anymore. He said that it would put everybody involved in jail if the people doing it didn't also control the prison systems. Liberal blogs are having fun at my expense about saying that I think we get more truth right now from Pravda than the American press. And it's true. I stand by it. If only because they have perspective. They're not so close to it. They don't have the, we're America. We'll never have these hard times. They've gone through it. Let me give you a quote that I found in Pravda just last week. It can be safely said that the last time a great nation destroyed itself through its own hubris and economic folly was the early Soviet Union, though in the late Soviet Union, it still died by the economic hand. We now get the opportunity to watch the Americans do the exact same thing to themselves. The most amazing thing, of course, is that they're just repeating the failed mistakes of the past. Boy, aren't we ever. And remember, the Soviet Union didn't collapse. It was transformed overnight. Transformed. Look it up. It's important to understand possibly our future. Now, how is all of this happening? Well, let me first explain, before I get to where I think they're going to take us, let me explain how this works. A year ago, we had the problem with banks because people took out too many bad loans. And I know this is a little Chinese that goes in the opposite direction, but call me Chinese today. I mean, they practically own us anyway. Here's where we start. Here's the home that you and I could afford. Okay? There. One car, little house. Maybe we could afford that. But this is the home and the car that we couldn't afford, that we were promised by the people in Washington that you could. Don't worry. You can have it all. You can have this house. Why live in this crappy house? You should live here with 2 of these cars. Wouldn't that be great? Well, who told us that? These people and the Acorn people. Okay? They pressured banks to make loans to people who could not afford them. And then the whole thing melted down because the bank said to these people, no, these people cannot afford this home. These people, just so they could get your vote and you into this home, they pressured the banks and said, you know what? Then if you're going to do that, you're not going to be able to expand. We're going to pick at you. We're going to smear you every step of the way. And that's what they did. And so the banks loaned money to these people to buy this home. Again, because of special interests and politicians. So now, a year ago, this system melted down. The bank said we can't do it. They said you have to. Well, it melted down. So